Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I'm Leela Murli for News, and today I will be interviewing Mr. Yashwant Deshmukh. He is the CEO of CVoter. He's also a political analyst and an opinion poll expert. So today I'm going to be just catching up with him and asking him a couple of questions on the upcoming state assemblies. 4 states and 1 union territory are going to polls next month. So my first question to you is, how are these, and how, if so, how are these state polls going to affect the national political scenario?
Nationally speaking, I don't really see that it's going to make any big impact, for a simple reason that the two national players, as we call them, the BJP and the Congress, actually don't have much stake. Congress does even have the stake, but then also it's largely that they are likely to lose Kerala, and they are somehow trying to save Assam. So it's not a very pretty sight for them also. They are in any case, I would say, fringe player in Tamil Nadu politics, and now they have become a fringe player as far as Bengal is concerned as well.
Right.
So BJP has been a fringe player in all these states. The only state where BJP is likely to make some gain or some impact is Assam. So that is what they must be looking forward to. But nationally speaking, I hardly see any big impact, because the players who are going to win in these elections, they are not really very keen to go anti or pro BJP big time, barring the left front. The Mamata Banerjee has a hot and cold relationship with the BJP. Sometimes she goes absolutely anti, but plenty of the times we have also seen within the parliament they have had a tacit understanding with the BJP. Jayalalitha has been very friendly with the Narendra Modi, and the other alternative in Tamil Nadu, the DMK, they can very well do business with anybody under the sun. They have been part of the NDA, they have been part of the UPA. So all in all, I don't see any much of a national impact as such in center due to these election results.
Okay. So before I go into each state and each election, I just want to ask you, the part of the budget session just concluded. So how do you think the BJP has fared in this session, and with the recent budget and things like that? And will that affect the upcoming polls?
That won't affect these elections, but this is a build-up for 2002 years are going by, and now we are in the cusp year, which is the third year in between, and then the final countdown. Right after this year, the countdown will start for the last 2 years. So this budget is important. What is actually surprising me is not the budget or anything, but it's surprising me that before every parliament session, somehow the BJP has the unique, brilliant tendency to pick up some issue out of the blue, which ensures that entire opposition gets united and washes out the session. So if it was nothing else, then this time the Uttarakhand has happened, which is weird. And the day before, when I was on the news hour with Arnab, I actually asked the BJP guy that, I am not questioning about the legality or morality of what is going on in Uttarakhand, but I am certainly questioning the political wisdom of why are you doing that when you have a budget session going on, and you know that by pulling this down, you are actually ensuring that all the non-Congress opposition are getting on the side of the Congress, and they will make a hell out of you in the parliament. It will be so difficult for you to conduct business in the parliament after this. And so what's the purpose of the timing? Either this is something very highest possible layer of political maneuvering and understanding, or this is pure stupidity. I mean, there is no gray area. So either they are political genius in doing that, which rest of the lesser mortals like me are unable to understand, or they are being pure stupid in doing that. The timing. I mean, pulling down Uttarakhand government by defection or those kind of thing, that's okay. That's pure politics. Anybody can do that. Anyone in politics must be doing that. That may be okay. But the timing is questionable. So even if they might be having a very good budget paper and everything, right now the budget session is going to go into mess after Uttarakhand.
Okay, so right this morning, while the centre was arguing in the Nainital High Court, they said that if tomorrow there is a floor test conducted, then there will be two governments. I mean, there will be the President's rule as well as the Congress government if it wins. Any comment on that?
Well, it's still technicality and legality for the court to say on, and that's what I was arguing the BJP spokesperson the other day, that you may be legally correct, you may be technically correct, but you are morally totally wrong on this particular thing. And I question the political wisdom of doing that, because if the Congress is having an internal problem, let them go down. Why are you being seen as a party to it, and such an active party to it? Number one. Number two, it's only about 11 months from the Uttarakhand elections. Right. So what is the hurry? I mean, in case of Arunachal, I can politically explain that the 2014 was the assembly election, 2019, there is still 3 years to go. Right. So okay, politically speaking, it makes sense to run a government for 3 years. In Uttarakhand, where you have a system of anti-incumbency being built up for 5 years, so 1 year the one election cycle BJP wins, another election cycle Congress wins, and like that. Right. So in any case, by the time the next year, there would have been enough anti-incumbency sentiment against the Congress government, Harish Rawat and everybody else, and the BJP could have easily won it. Right. So what was the point of doing that? 11 months from now, what are they going to gain out of it? They are not even going to gain any Rajya Sabha seat out of it a big time. It's only 2 Rajya Sabha seats, and only 1 would be coming the way, and I don't see them winning that in any case right now. So from when I really had to work very hard to understand why. And I'm still unable to get the answer, that you have discredited yourself, you have unnecessarily given a sympathy factor to Harish Rawat, who will be now going into the field with the elections, and that okay, I was pulled down, and so unnecessarily you have given a card in their hand, and then you have washed out an all-important, likely to wash out an all-important budget session over here, and then you have given a credence to Congress and all the opposition party to come on the one platform. So where is the political wisdom in doing that? I have no answer to that.
Okay. Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Veerbhadra Singh and also yesterday Assam Chief Minister Tarun Gogoi have alleged that the BJP is buying MLAs, like they're using crores of rupees to actually buy. Any comment on that?
I mean, it's in politics, they can claim and counter claim. Unfortunately for the Congress, no matter what they say, their own track record of doing all these kind of engineering has been so pathetic that they would be the last person to gain any traction out of these allegations. But yes, in case of Veerbhadra Singh, I have another angle to think on. Those who understand the politics of Congress well, they would understand that Harish Rawat and Veerbhadra Singh, these are the 2 chief ministers who were not on the good book of Tanjanpat. Tanjanpat never wanted to make them to chief minister's chair, pull them up. They ensured that because of their own personal strength, they became the chief minister. So in the Congress politics, the anti-Tanjanpat faction, who was gaining ground and who was gaining strength by virtue of these chief ministers having their way, has been thoroughly compromised by the action of the center of the BJP against them. In other words, my question to BJP is that second question mark to political wisdom: why on earth are you pulling down people like Harish Rawat or Veerbhadra Singh and helping indirectly to Tanjanpat? If Veerbhadra Singh goes down, if Harish Rawat goes down, how paradoxical it may sound, but the fact is that it is only going to strengthen Tanjanpat's hold on the Congress party. So, as if indirectly doing that, BJP is trying to help Tanjanpat. Believe me, Tanjanpat will be more than happy if Veerbhadra Singh bites the dust and Harish Rawat bites the dust. For them, it is another chapter being closed who can put up a question mark to the leadership of Tanjanpat. Right. So, again, this is again a question of political wisdom. What are you gaining out of it? And Congress gaining anything out of it? I doubt big time, because their own track record has been so much checkered in that it's not going to get any traction on that.
Okay. So going back to the budget session, a quick question. We saw this budget was pro-farmer in nature more than the last budget. Last budget was more geared towards economic growth. Any comment on the change in stance?
No, it's that part is certainly commendable, because when we talk about the agriculture sector at large, it's not just the last budget. Let me remind you that since 1991 that we opened up the economy, this probably is the first budget that has actually gone so concrete on the farming sector. And let me underline this, that Manrega or other schemes were not aimed at farming sectors. They were aimed at helping the poor population in that way, but it had no concrete aim of reviving the agriculture sector. India's growth story since 1991 has been primarily on the service sector, and secondary because of the manufacturing as more sectors opened up, and agriculture, which was 70% of Indian economy, actually gone down to the last of the structures. And to have a really long-term resounding economic growth, there is no way that you can ignore the agriculture sector and help the economy bounce back. So this is the core, this is the basics, and I am happy that has been added. At least they are trying to, and that too, that kind of investment, huge investment in basic criteria like irrigation. It's brilliant in that way, because these are the issues which don't have a quick solution to it. If you work on the irrigation right now, it is going to yield you big time, sometime between 5 to 10 years. They are not a solution which will give you overnight results, but they are the concrete solution for the future. And there is no way that you can think of a good future by avoiding these issues, by going around these issues, by neglecting agriculture. How can you have a good economy when 70% of your country is dependent on agriculture, agrarian economy? When Vajpayee government was there, they had two major concrete plans. One was the road infrastructure, which actually helped the complete economy in a big time. We had seen that. And second one was the interlinking of the rivers, which was again aimed at the irrigation and flooding and droughts and those kind of things. Unfortunately, for 10 years, that entire thing was considered as a closed chapter. Now it is a time that they are putting up money again in irrigation, and they have long-term plans. I hope that it revives it, and farmers are in big time distress. Let's concede that. So much distress that it's not about the minimum support price, it's not about the loans that it has gone down to a situation where the farming community is unable to grow and feed their own families. Those who have a rural background, those who have any connection with the villages, they would understand that when you own a piece of land, or if you are doing your human labor on another person's piece of land and sharing the produce with them, the first target of any farmer is basically to grow enough to feed their family for a year. Second target is save for the seed for the next crop cycle, and third target is to grow up the surplus which the farmer can sell off and make money out of it. Okay, so selling off and making money out of it is a gone case. Number two, that procuring enough for saving for the seeds, that is in the question mark right now, in the gray area, because the cost of producing that much is not matching the benefit, and because if that seed cycle is being question marked, then growing something to feed your family has also been into question. So the distress is so big, it's acute, and to that alarming level that probably the urban India is unlikely to understand if they don't have any personal connection with the countryside. Majority, 90% of the urban Indian, and especially the middle class like you and me, are unlikely to understand that distress. It's a question not about how they can grow and sell. Right now it's a question of their basic survival. Can they grow and feed their own families? Right now even that basic survival has put up into a danger zone.
Okay, so I'm going to shift off back to the polls. Yesterday you tweeted some results from ABP Nielsen's opinion polls. So if I could just read it out. From Assam, these opinion polls said that BJP will get 78 seats or more, Congress 36, AUDF 10, and others 2. Any comment?
Our first round of tracker that happened went on air last month. The results are more or less matching, barring in Assam. In Assam, we figured out that BJP is leading, NDA is leading, but they are falling short of majority. With these numbers, I would still like to hold on to my number. It only reconfirms that BJP has upper hand. It reconfirms that Congress is facing acute anti-incumbency sentiment right now. 15 years of incumbency is a big time. But one arithmetic and one chemistry which I would like to explain is Assam is about the minority votes or the Muslim votes. 1/3 of the Assam seats are actually, demographically speaking, have the Muslim majority seats in that way. Okay, unless those minority votes get split in those seats, BJP cannot win those seats. As far as I know, Muslim voters are the most organized vote bank in this country. They use their ballot brilliantly. They never waste their votes. So if they find AUDF as the best candidate to defeat BJP, they will vote en bloc. If they find the Congress as the best candidate, they will vote en bloc. In the ABP News poll, I see a remarkable drop in the AUDF seat, which had won 18. AUDF was the principal opposition over there. 18 to 9 or 10, it's a remarkable drop. That drop would mean only one thing. That means Muslims are shifting over to Congress. If Muslims are shifting over to Congress in those seats, that means the Congress tally should have gone up. You know. So AUDF and Congress both cannot go down simultaneously together at the same time. So if AUDF is going down, Congress will go up. If Congress is going down, AUDF will go up. As far as the BJP is concerned, it is becoming more like a Jammu Kashmir scenario where BJP is sweeping Jammu, but the total number of seats in Jammu is 37. So even if BJP managed to win 37 out of 37, they cannot form the government. They would still fall short of that. You know, BJP's problem is that in Assam, 1/3 of the seats are now more or less practically Muslim majority seats. Those seats, if the Muslims vote one way, they can never win. Remaining 2/3 seat, how much strike rate can you think of to in order to win 51% of the seats? You know, it would be a strike rate of almost about 80 to 90% you will need. That is unlikely to happen because they have left 24 seats for Assam Gana Parishad, which is a spent force. I believe that's a bad deal for them. They are unlikely to gain much of the traction. Bodo, they have limited of their own 16-18 seats what they are going to contest. The problem with the Bodo candidates would be that most of those candidates are running into their third term. So their anti-incumbency at the micro level is going to hit them. But anti-incumbency is running very high. So BJP is likely to sweep the urban Assam big time. Their winning margins are going to be huge. Okay, but winning margins huge on a smaller number of seats is not helping you to get bigger number of seats to win. So their vote share might look like much bigger than, or the gap could look like much bigger, but number of seats conversion, because of the concentrated Muslim population in at least 1/3 of the seats, is going to be biggest stumbling block for the BJP.
So do you think this has anything to do with Mr. Sonowal being projected as Chief Minister?
No, that's a good thing that they have got a face, but I would realize that BJP's own way of going ahead with the Prime Minister's face has backfired big time for them. And they realize their prime asset has been compromised. And if the Bihar's blame got to the Modi's name, somehow even Delhi got struck. They tried to project Kiran Bedi at the last time and tried to put everything in a name that okay, we lost, which is not the case. Everybody knows that Kiran Bedi was not a bad candidate. She was not given time. In fact, BJP should have struck with Harshvardhan in Delhi and they could have still fought it out. But leave it aside. Now it is a time that they realize that they cannot dilute their prime asset anymore. So that's why I believe that they have put up the face of Sonowal, so that if suppose they don't get it, then at least there is something to blame, number one. Number two, without putting up a CM candidate, it is extremely difficult to win. Their victories in Haryana, their victories in Maharashtra, they were aberrations. All these states were facing big time anti-incumbency, right? And they were fractured 4-5 cornered contests. BJP managed to win Haryana flat, managed to win Maharashtra. So they were important victories for them, but not giving a CM face, a factor became less important than the anti-incumbency and other local factors over there. In case of Assam, it was not. They needed a face, and it's good that they have given a face.
Right. And the numbers for West Bengal are TMC with 178 seats, CPM and the INC with 110, BJP with 1, and others 5. So
I think it's more or less, I would agree with the numbers that Mamata Banerjee is driving home. Right. Well, I don't think that Congress connection with the left is going to deliver much, for a simple reason that the left vote might switch over to Congress candidate, but it is highly unlikely that Congress vote will switch over to left candidate, because their voters are big time having 30-40 years of animosity at the grassroots level. Similarly, the BJP polled extraordinarily well in 2014 elections, but at the micro level, that means the Vidhan Sabha level, those votes, they don't find BJP winning. They would rather shift over to Mamata Banerjee rather than voting for the BJP and allowing Congress and the left to win the state. Right. So there is going to be a churn, a big churn. So Congress votes, they would be kind of having an issue, and similarly the BJP votes, they will be having a big time issue, and Mamata Banerjee eventually will be benefited out of that.
So this recent sting operation by Narda News, you don't think that has any effect on the electorate?
No, I don't think that. In some parts of the urban areas this might be an impact, but largely speaking, I don't think that people are voting Mamata Banerjee because of the people around her. Right. People are voting Mamata Banerjee because she is Mamata Banerjee. Okay. People vote Arvind Kejriwal because he is Arvind Kejriwal, not because of the elements who are surrounding Arvind Kejriwal. People vote Modi because he is Modi, not because the people who are surrounding Modi. These kind of, there are so many examples. You talk about Jayalalitha, you talk about Biju Patnaik. These leaders, these singular leaders who are barring Jayalalitha, rest of the leaders which I talked about, say Nitish Kumar also, who are seen as uncorruptible, honest people, personally speaking, they carry a lot of confidence of the people, and people vote in the name of those leaders, not because of the people around them. So this sting also is unlikely to dent Mamata in a big time. People would be angry, upset, but when they go inside the booth, at the end of the day, they have to figure out whether I want to bring in left front back or I want to have Mamata Banerjee as the chief minister again. So it becomes a presidential choice. Eventually, they will vote for Mamata.
Do you think the same logic holds in Tamil Nadu as well with J. Jayalalitha?
Quite some kind of, but Tamil Nadu is more about arithmetic. Tamil Nadu's case is different because Vijayakant's party, if they would have aligned with DMK, then arithmetic would have gone in their favor. Because Vijayakant holds roughly about 6 to 10% of the votes, and that is a critical vote. But him going alone is only going to ensure that anti-incumbent votes are distributed. There is a divided opposition, and which is not indirectly, actually directly going to help Jayalalitha in that.
Okay, and any comment on Kerala and what might transpire?
Kerala is a routine cycle of 5-year incumbency, and left is likely to win. Congress, with these kind of corruption and the scandals that is going on, and let me remind you, this was one Congress government after a long time, which was actually a minority government. Congress did not get the numbers. So they are going to have a really problematic time. BJP is gaining in terms of vote share, but they are unlikely to do much in terms of the seat share. So I doubt that it is going to help left front big time or the Congress big time. They will be eating up some of the anti-incumbency votes. Maybe they might be opening the account, but invariably the larger fixed scenario, the left is going to win the election very dry.
Okay. Do you still see a Modi wave across the country? Do you?
Personally speaking, in terms of Modi as an individual, yes. Definitely yes. There is, and that is largely because of the Tina factor. There is no alternative factor, because the moment at the national level you put up Modi versus Rahul Gandhi, you don't even, it's a no-brainer. the way it is. But yes, Modi has to be very careful about the issue of inflation. When the prices go through the roof, then people are not likely to be very kind in their response. Second thing, there is always a phenomenon of anti-incumbency at the micro level, that is the sitting MPs. Their non-performance sometimes become 2004 election loss of Vajpayee was largely because of that, because his sitting MPs lost big time. They were liability, big time non-performing assets. So how Modi is going to deal with his non-performing assets? Say in UP, 73 seats that he won, purely because of UP he got the majority. Now 99% of UP MPs are non-performing assets. If you go back, the next year we have got UP election, and when the results come out, it won't be surprising for me to figure out that BJP ends up at number 3 place in UP. So how he is going to deal with these things? Otherwise, as an individual, his popularity is still high, way high, and no other leader is near that. Rahul Gandhi is way down in his popularity, Sonia Gandhi way down in the popularity. The only other credible probably number would be of Arvind Kejriwal. He is scoring more than Rahul Gandhi in the ratings largely. But Kejriwal will take its own time to emerge as a national alternative. It's not going to happen very soon. Punjab and Delhi alone, these two states are not going to be called as a national wave building. And Kejriwal also has to prove his governance. Let me remind you, Modi's brand, or the brand Modi, clicked with the electorate not because of the Hindutva and not because of the communal polarization. It clicked electorate because of the 10 years of stories, constant stories in the media and everywhere. What about the good governance of Gujarat model was, right or wrong, people can argue that there were stories built up, or the actual, people are free to make whatever assumption. I am not going into that. But yes, the brand Modi had to do everything about development altogether, and that was a proven, because he won 3 elections back to back purely based on the development agenda. That was the case. Arvind Kejriwal's agenda is also honesty and transparency, but in terms of development he has to still prove. 1 or 2 years in Delhi or 1 or 2 years in Punjab is unlikely to gather that kind of attraction that he can say that I am the. In fact, Nitish Kumar is likely to have more traction on the agenda of governance, because he has run a pretty decent government in Bihar. So it will take time. At the moment, Modi's popularity is high. He is being lucky that there is a big vacuum out there, nobody else is there. So as long as that vacuum doesn't get filled up by some other credible face, Modi is unlikely to be dented at the national level.
So you're from Banaras, UP is, like you said, going to polls next year. Any predictions for what might happen?
In UP, I have all the reasons to believe that Mayawati should stage a comeback, because in UP, she is the strongest CM candidate in front of Akhilesh Yadav at the moment. BJP doesn't have a face. That's a big problem with the BJP. Congress doesn't have a face. That's a big problem with the Congress. We kept on listing the names of Priyanka Gandhi could be the chief. That's not going to happen. Eventually it will be Mayawati versus Akhilesh. So at the micro level there is going to be a split vote. The voters which are anti-Mulayam vote, they are likely to polarize for Mayawati at the Vidhan Sabha level. In 2019 Lok Sabha election, they might be gravitating again toward the BJP purely because of the equation, the grassroots equation of Brahmin and Dalit, and that works in that way. But next year I believe it should be Mayawati.
Can I assume you're dismissing the Prashant Kishore factor, because he is going to be behind the Congress in UP?
No, I'm not dismissing. I mean, one cannot dismiss anyone for that matter, but it's like he is a very good, skilled sharpshooter, but he needs ammo. He cannot fire with a blank barrel. He may aim very well, but if there is no ammo in his rifle, what the hell he can do about it? So Congress problem is that they are unable to provide him any ammo in UP right now. So poor chap, how much he can do with that remains to be seen. I cannot rule out of anything. Elections is something which humbles most of especially the pollsters all the time. But whatever the political wisdom I have gathered in the last 20 years, for the Congress it is a very uphill task. Very uphill task.
And so my last question for you is this morning on the economic front. This morning, news this morning was that the RBI has told the Supreme Court that not all corporate loan defaults can be pegged on the promoter, right? And in light of what's happened with Mr. Mallya and other big companies in the country, they've said that it could be due to the cyclical ups and downs of the economy. Any comment on this?
That's big time bull.
Okay.
Let's face it, India has been a crony capitalist state, right? If you don't inherit, this country is a graveyard for entrepreneurs because of the systematic flaws in place. The system doesn't provide money to the ideas. This country is not about money following the idea. This country is all about idea following the money. That's the basic flaw of the system. All these non-performing assets of the bank, they were not built over the last 5 years. They have been built over for the last 40 years actually. If you look into it, it's a deeper malaise. It's a cancer, big time blown up. Because people have been, public sector banks, under the political pressure and all circumstances due to the corruption big time, they have kept on giving money and financing big time projects. And the corporate sector of India, generation after generation, I would say, they knew the art of siphoning off the public sector banks. How to take the money out, how to siphon it out, how to declare yourself bankrupt and move ahead. There was no liability because of the corporate laws that this much of loss cannot be struck or directed towards a personal promoter or that board of director or anybody as an individual. That's why you call it a limited company. But Kingfisher's episode has exposed precisely the rot. That on what grounds are you giving the loan? What grounds are you giving finance? So unless that entire thing is big time surgically operated on, this is not going to end up soon. And according to me, government does not have any role in banking, in aviation, in all these kind of things. Government's role is to support the business. Government's role is not to run the business, and banking is a business, by the way. I'm not talking about how banks are supporting the businesses. I'm talking about banking as the business. Government has no role in running a business of a bank. Why are they running it? It has started with the nationalization of the banks and all those kind of things. They might like to camouflage it, decorate it with whatsoever socialist agenda they like to, but the bottom of the line, the fact is, government has no role of running that business. The public sector banks are highly corrupted. They work under political pressure. Biggest time the money which they collected from people like you and me, that has been given to the crony capitalist system, to the people who don't deserve it. They have siphoned off and they have converted into a big time NPA, and banks don't know what to do away with it now, how to go around. Every time they go back to the government, you bail us out. Government is kind enough, just like Air India, kind enough to put up more money into it. But giving more money into it is not curing the cancer. Right. It's not curing the cancer. You have to cure the cancer purely by treating it. Either you surgically operate it and make the system clean and pull yourself out of it, that okay, this is not my agenda, this is not my cup of tea. Let the professionals run it, let the professionals deal with it. Otherwise, this country is graveyard of entrepreneurs. It is a bitter truth. I am a first generation entrepreneur, and I can say it in my experience, and I can give you thousands and thousands of other experiences. You talk to any first generation entrepreneur. This country cannot produce a Bill Gates who makes the money, starts from a car garage and makes some money and retires at 45 years of age, becoming a billionaire and putting their money into philanthropy. This country can produce Dhirubhai Ambani, who gives entire life fighting the system, becoming a billionaire, but unable to enjoy anything out of it. His sons might be enjoying it, and is still not giving a single penny to charity. Alright, so this is what this country is all about. The systematic failure to promote entrepreneurship, unless and until they figure a way out to break that jinx, it's not going anywhere.
So thank you so much for speaking with News today, and all of you can follow Mr. Deshmukh on Twitter. He's very active under the handle of YR Deshmukh. You can search for him, and good luck for the post.
Pleasure.